A friend of mine sat down with me when we were trying to decide how I would approach my lifelong dream of passing on all the information I've learned over 65 years of living and 32 plus years of being in business. And one of the things, the clever things he came up with was EQ plus IQ equals FQ. Because I had been talking to him about a test called the EQI, which I may be offering for some of you to take so that you can see where you stand emotionally as you present yourself to the world. So an EQ would be your emotional quotient, sort of an arbitrary calculation of how you handle things in the world when you're faced with dilemmas, not only personal, but financial, business, partnerships, all kinds of responses that you have that are probably ingrained in you from 0 to 5. And, that's part of the passion that I have about passing this on. So your emotional quotient would be answers to questions, and then you would be not rated, but probably given a number for how you responded to that question. But it's also kind of an overall view of the calculation of how you emotionally respond to life. That emotional response to life includes very difficult emotional responses to money, either anger, frustration, sadness, fear, either meant to, I think. But among all those things are sadness, fear, anger, misunderstanding, lack of knowledge. All those things go into why you respond to money the way you do emotionally. I've heard people have arguments over very small sums of money, and people handle very large sums of money very quietly. People have taken things, a downturn in their financial condition and done well with it, and someone drops $20 on the street and can't find it and is a hysterical mess. So an hysterical mess is never what you want to be when it comes to money. You actually want to be well balanced in your approach to money. To be well balanced, you need knowledge and you need information. So knowledge and information are different. Knowledge is something that you carry with you. Information is something that you can go and get. So if you have your EQ is a mess, if your emotional state is always a mess about money, your intelligence toward how you handle it will probably be flawed as well. So even though we know something in our gut or we know something in our head, when the two things that we know are really far apart, like if you think one way but you react another and there's this big gap, you will probably not be stable about money. That is a problem. So if you're handed a problem and let's say it's, oh, my checking account is in the negative, what am I going to do? Well, you may have 4 options. Move it from your savings account, borrow money from a friend, borrow money from a parent, not know what to do, put something on your credit card, run around and gather some information or money that you have in the house, put that $27 in that you're overdrawn and kind of make it happen. That's problem solving, and that's a good way to solve it. But what we didn't talk about is why did it get overdrawn to begin with? That is where we talk about FQ, which is the financial quotient, the calculation of how financially stable you are. So what we're really saying in life is you need to have emotional stability. Why do you respond and react the way you do to things? You have to have sort of when I say intelligence, I don't mean like, oh, you have to be a rocket science, because indeed rocket scientists probably can't balance a checkbook. No offense to those rocket scientists who do balance their checkbook. But let's put it this way, just because you know a lot about one subject doesn't mean that you can handle your overall picture. So we're looking for emotional stability when we deal with our problems. We're looking for that working through the problem intellectually, saying, okay, what are my options? How did I come to this place? How can I fix it to the best of my ability? How can I make it not happen again? Those two things together will equal financial stability. And I'm not talking about someone who has millions. I'm talking about people who work in the hundreds. Like at the end of a month, I have $100 left over for me to play with or to save or to buy my kids shoes. A lot of us are in a tight position. A lot of us are in that position where we say, what are we going to do financially? And I was just speaking to a few friends where I said, almost everybody I know who has an inner bookkeeper in them does it on that first layer. Goes that one layer. Here is my cash. Here's what I have to pay. Here's what I have left over. But almost to a person, those people don't go to the next column. Okay, here's your column 1. Cash coming in, cash going out. But where's the analysis of the cash going in and cash going out? All right, next column. What is going out and why? And what is it for? So you say, all right, insurance. I have life insurance, auto insurance, medical insurance, renter's insurance. I have a lot of insurance. Let me look at the insurance and see if I have the right coverages, if I'm paying too much or too little for insurance. Same thing with your credit cards. How many of you sit down with your credit cards and say, here's my credit card. This is my minimum payment. This is my interest rate. Oh my gosh, it's 28.9% interest. How did it get to 28.9% interest? And then you go, next column, what is my balance owing? The whole balance owing. What is the credit limit? How much left do I have on that credit card? How many of you actually do the 4 layers of financial calculations? Probably not very many. It's so important to have that Excel spreadsheet in your head or a pad of paper with those columns where you're actually writing those out, looking at them and analyzing them. That's true of your mortgage. That's true of any other debt you might have, school loans. You need to look at all of it. What is my monthly payment for my school loan? What is my interest rate on my school loan? How much do I have left? Can I refinance it? When will it all be paid in full? Where will I be after 10 years when I've paid this in full? Can I step up the process? You know, do I need more education? All those things go into your financial quotient, your calculation of your life. It is so important for you to understand that. And in my own life, I didn't do that for a while. I went through a traumatic thing in my 30s and I started not paying attention. And then I realized I have to raise 3 children. I need to know where my money is. I need to know what my sources of money are. And I need to understand how I'm spending it. And I need to see the other sources of money that I could possibly have in order to make this picture better, in order for me to be calmer emotionally, in order for me to actually view it intelligently, and then for my finances to be in order. That's what we're looking for. Emotional stability, emotional responses that make more sense, intelligent, knowledgeable analyzing of your money, and then those two together creating a financial picture that you can at least handle and understand. Even if it still feels a little overwhelming, at least it's full of knowledge and full of opportunity for you to fix it. There are so many places where you can get help once you have all the facts. But let me tell you, if you emotionally call somebody and say, I need to refinance my debt, or I need to get it all consolidated, oh my goodness, please help me. They're going to make you do those steps anyway. So how about if we do those steps in advance? And I am going to provide you with a simple worksheet where you can start doing that analysis, and that you can come to the conclusion that you need to come to, that your finances are yours to manage. And I mean that it's yours to manage and so important. So EQ plus IQ equals FQ. And I'm taking a lot of leeway with those definitions, but I think you understand what I'm saying. I will share my experiences with you, and I will make sure that you can start getting a handle on this simple formula. Thank you.